Hello, and welcome back to Cooking for the Umavit. Sorry it had been so long since my last episode, but what I was going to do last week, before I started filming, I developed this really wicked case of contact dermatitis. So from my hairline to my waistline, I was just like one huge red rash. It's really disgusting, and it itched like crazy, and I couldn't stop. But finally, I'm over it. So now, I decided, since I looked like a big old red lobster last week, I was going to originally cook a lobster bisque. But lobster is incredibly expensive, and Facebook is still not paying me because I'm getting closer, but still a way off from having the 1,000 subscribers necessary for that to happen. Although I am not doing this just to get paid. I'm doing it because I like to cook, I like to eat, as anyone who's ever seen me can tell you. I'm incredibly huge. So anyway, I am going to now, instead of making a lobster bisque, I'm going to be making a shrimp bisque. Incredibly delicious, incredibly yummy. Let's get started. Our first ingredient is going to be 1 pound of peeled and deveined shrimp. Just put that right there in your slow cooker. Now we add 1 cup of milk. Now we add 2 cups of heavy cream. Now we add 1 tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning, or if you're unable to find it, I found this new seasoning. It's called Pappy's Blue Label. Yeah, right there. And you stir that up a bit. Now we put in 1/4 cup, or half a stick of butter. Just put that in there. And we add half a teaspoon of salt. And 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now we're going to take 1 pound of potato. If you don't have one of these, you're going to need to dice it very finely. Okay. And take out all our potato. And this also goes into this bisque. Let me get all of that in there. Stir that around a bit. Now we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to use an onion. As I said, we're going to do the same thing with the onion. Now, if you don't have one of these, just make sure you chop it up very finely. Neatness in this case doesn't count because eventually everything is going to be pureed anyway later at the end of the process. But we put our onion in there as well, plus the bits and pieces. Mainly it's just to make sure that it all cooks evenly. Okay, put that in there. Do a little bit more stirring. Now we put on our cover. Now we're going to cook this on low for a minimum of 3 hours. 3 to 4 hours is what it's called for, but we're going to do it for at least 3. So we'll be back in 3 hours to check how it's done and decide if we need to cook it for another hour or so. See you soon. Okay, it's now been 4 hours, so we're going to take all the solid bits out of the slow cooker. I'm going to put them in our food processor, and we're going to proceed. Now, if we were living back in the way Julia Child would do this originally, she used a food mill, but we now have much better equipment, and I forget what book she said it in, but she is on record as saying that the food processor is one of the best, greatest inventions of humanity during her lifetime. So let me just get all the solid bits here. And now we're going to puree it. Oh, I hope I didn't have this on the whole time. Helps if I plug it in. Okay, now we're going to puree it. Now, you pour it back into the slow cooker. And we get the scraper, if we can, oh, there, sorry. We get the scraper and we scrape out the part of our bisque that's clung to the whoop. And now, okay, we take 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and we're going to make a paste. 1, 2, and now I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of cold water, which I've had in the refrigerator to make sure it's nice and chilled. I've got 1, 2, 3. Now we here. Okay, make sure check on the bottoms, make sure you got all the cornstarch whisked up. Now, let me get a better camera angle here. Now we're going to stir our cornstarch and water. This acts as a thickening agent. And now, our final ingredient, we're going to add a little bit more paprika. This gives it extra color and flavor. Doesn't that look good? And it smells absolutely fantastic. So now I'm going to get myself a nice bowl of shrimp bisque. Now let's put our food into the dish. I think two and a little bit more spoons, ladles ought to be enough. Now I'm going to reduce the temperature now to keep warm. For my one of my roommates is coming home. We'll be home soon. But never forget, you also want to add, just to make it look pretty, a little parsley. Parsley makes it pretty. And now my favorite part of every episode, eating! Oh, this is going to be so good. Oh, that is smooth, that is creamy. That makes me so glad I'm not allergic to shrimp. Anyway, that is my recipe for this episode. I hope you get a chance to try this yourself. It's really good and I think you'll enjoy it. Until next time, remember, comment below about how much you enjoyed the episode. Like if you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe. And always remember, eat and enjoy.